All right, let's do the Friday Eve edition of Weather for Weather Geeks here on Thursday, January 21st. Hope you had a good day today. It was a cold day. We only made it to 22 this afternoon, and we got nickeled and dimed a little bit with some light snow or just some flurries around. It's been a cold week. 22 today, 19, 18, 13, easily the coldest week overall of the winter season. And, this is climatologically right on par. Usually this third week of January is, climatologically speaking, our coldest week of the winter. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Like last year, we had our coldest stretches of weather in February. But when you look at long-term averages, this third week, heading into the fourth week of January, is usually when winter kind of peaks, if you will, at least in terms of temperatures. For the month so far, 1.5 degrees below average, with the below average days outnumbering the above average days. There's been 8 above average days. That means, 13 below average days so far this month. So it's been a far cry from December, although I do think January will shake out to be pretty close to average or just a little below average, which is pretty close to what our January forecast was as part of our winter forecast we put out around Halloween. As far as snow goes, of course, no surprise here, we're below average. Officially at the airport, 11.3 inches. Your mileage varies here a little bit. Of course, if you live closer to the snow belts up in Trumbull and Mercer counties, you've had more. If you live south of Vienna, into Mahoning, and especially into Columbiana County, you've had a little less than 11.3, but that's the official number where the records are kept. About a third of what is average up through January 21st. Notice last year, we were almost exactly at average by this date with 30.9 inches of snow and much more coming before January and February and even March was through. The radar is quiet this evening, nothing more than a stray snowflake or two for the rest of the evening. Looking off to the south, now here's our blockbuster storm. This is not a snowstorm just yet, but it is producing rain and even some severe weather. Look at this nasty line of storms moving through parts of Louisiana and Mississippi this evening. There's been a lot of watches and warnings out. Everywhere we have a yellow box here, that's where a severe thunderstorm warning is out, and there's even a tornado warning down. Let's see, let me take that off. Let's see if I can pan down here. Take off my drawing tool. Well, it doesn't want to work with me here, but anyway, that purple polygon is a tornado warning in southern parts of Mississippi. You'll have to just take my word for it. All right, futurecast as we go on through the next couple of days. All right, our big storm eventually is going to run into cold air. That cold air being funneled south by this area of high pressure, which is almost right overhead right now. And as this moisture works east, it's going to start to be a problem. We're going to have ice. By tomorrow morning and midday, Charlotte especially is under the gun, maybe up towards Raleigh as well. Snow will break out by midday tomorrow up into West Virginia, Kentucky, even parts of Tennessee, and even parts of southern Ohio already getting snow by midday tomorrow. By tomorrow evening, the snow is getting into D.C., so everybody will be off work or school tomorrow all day, or a lot of people will be going home early, surely in the nation's capital, with the snow pushing in around sunset. Notice the pink colors down to the south. That's where the freezing rain will continue to be a problem in the Piedmont of the Carolinas. The snow gets up to maybe I-70 towards the end of the day tomorrow, but that's about as far north as it will get, generally speaking, in Ohio and western PA. About I-70, maybe a little farther north, but that is about it. It's going to run into drier air, and it's just not going to be able to work any farther north than that. Here's Saturday morning, blizzard conditions before daybreak. D.C., Baltimore, perhaps Philly, back towards Harrisburg, PA. Snow just thumping, absolutely thumping. Incredible snowfall rates at times Saturday morning here in the pre-dawn hours around the Mason-Dixon line and heading down towards D.C. Back closer to home, of course, it'll be quiet. You might, if you're out in the wee hours of Saturday morning, especially if you're south of Route 30, there might be a little snow trying to fly in the air, but I don't think it's going to accumulate. And then the storm is finally off the playing field by Sunday. And while Saturday for us is a pretty cloudy day, I think Sunday will turn out to be a little bit sunnier. Again, this is going to be a big, the snow is going to get a lot of press, and rightfully so. It's going to be a ton of snow. But this ice situation down in the deep south, this is bad news. Charlotte in particular, if you get almost a half an inch of ice, that is borderline crippling with lots of trees and power lines coming down, unfortunately. And a lot of people could be without power in some cold weather for a couple of days down in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. As far as the snow goes, here's our in-house RPM model. This is not perfect. For example, I think it's too far north up in southern New England with the snow. Probably a little too far north in central and eastern PA as well. But for the most part, it has the right idea with the bullseye eastern West Virginia along the spine of the Appalachians, through the Blue Ridge Parkway in western Virginia, heading up towards south central PA. There's going to be a lot of places in that zone that really exceed 2 feet, perhaps even approaching 3 feet up in the mountainous areas. DC, 20, 25 inches seems pretty likely. In the nation's capital, Baltimore's kind of in the same boat. Philadelphia, probably 10 to 15, maybe 18. New York City's a tough call. You know, again, the RPM model here is too far north. There's going to be a sharp cutoff probably right in through here, and I've got that on my snowfall map, you know, hand-drawn snowfall map here. There's going to be a sharp cutoff in the northern fringes. So New York City's a tough call, forecasting headache there. And really all of central and east central PA, this is a very tough forecast. You know, you're talking about, in a matter of 20, 30, 40 miles, going from nothing to seeing a foot or even more. So that's a forecasting nightmare through there. Now, you know, closer to home, you know, even as nearby as Pittsburgh, I think there can be a couple or a few inches of snow in Pittsburgh. But once you go south and east of Pittsburgh, that's when the amounts really start to ramp up. South of Steubenville, Wheeling as well. Once you're south of that zone, the amounts will really ramp up pretty quickly. We've removed the chance for 1 to 3 inches down towards East Liverpool and Calcutta. Again, you might see a little snow in the wee hours of Saturday morning, but other than candy coatings, don't really think accumulations are going to be an issue. All right, as far as our weather as we head into the weekend and beyond, again, the weekend's pretty quiet. Sunday looks like a pretty nice day. It'll get up to about freezing here Sunday evening. High pressure overhead. I think Monday's going to be a nice day. We'll get into the middle and upper 30s on Monday with a mix of sun and clouds. And temperatures will actually continue to rise Monday night ahead of this cold front, warm enough that it probably rains late Monday night and Tuesday morning. And then the cold air wraps in, and Tuesday's a backwards day where the high is in the morning, then temperatures fall in the afternoon. It'll be kind of windy, probably some snow showers working in as well. And then just kind of ho-hum January weather, it looks like, for the rest of next week. Maybe some piddling flurries here and there, but there are no big players on the field. The GFS showing next Friday, 8 days from now, a clipper coming through with perhaps some snow showers that day. But no big ticket items to be seen. Temperatures looking like this. Now, these are just trends we want to pay attention to. The exact numbers are surely going to be off, especially in longer range. But this does take us out 16 days. Here's the second half of next week. Cool shot, a little below average. But then, as we've been talking about, as we head into February, right around Groundhog Day, could be pretty mild. And you know, if the ensemble model is printing out mid-40s, that means that, you know, since this is an average of 21 members of the ensemble, there's certainly many members of this model that are seeing 50 degrees around Groundhog Day. So that's a possibility that we have some real nice mild weather to kick off February. Climate model is still showing an above average February, even if this is overdone, which it probably is. Even if there's a cool pocket that looks more like this, and the warmth is centered more like this, chances are February is not going to deviate a whole lot from average on the cool side. It's either going to be at or somewhat above average, it looks like, for February. That goes against our winter forecast a little bit that we put out a few months ago. We thought February would be the coldest month compared to average for the winter. As it turns out, it's likely to be January instead of February that will be the coldest month compared to average. And, you know, the government forecast here from NOAA shows a similar idea for February. Above average temperatures looking likely, or at least very, very possible, from the west coast through the northern tier of states, with below average temperatures a little more likely down across the southern tier. All right, I'll wrap it up on this Weather for Weather Geeks Thursday evening edition. We'll do this again Friday evening. Hope to see you then, and I hope to see you tonight on 21 News at 11. Have a great night.